Hey guys, welcome to Estheticians in Business, the podcast. And honestly, I am so excited you're here. Probably if you listen to any of my podcasts, I'm always excited you're here. But I'm especially excited you're here because the topic I'm going to be talking about today is one that a lot of people shared with me is something that they need help with. So if you haven't noticed on my Instagram story, actually currently, I have a story that I asked, like, what do you want to know about in my podcast? What is something that I can teach you, that I can help you with? And the topic you guys told me was booked without the burnout. So booked without feeling like you have to post more with no result of getting clients. And we're going to talk about that. And so I have 3 strategies I'm going to be sharing with you because I get it. Like, what if I told you that posting more doesn't really bring you more clients because of probably the way you're approaching it, but ending that, like, that showing up online doesn't always mean that you're going to get more bookings if you're not doing it in a way that makes sense to the client you're trying to reach. So here's the thing I see a lot. And if you're doing this, it's okay. We can fix it. Okay. So something I see a lot with a lot of solo estheticians is you guys are seeking likes, follows. You're seeking those things. And yes, I absolutely agree. Like, the more you post, the more you grow. And you want that. Like, you want your videos to go viral. You want all those things. But what's more important than your videos go viral is that you're reaching the right clients. You're reaching the right people to follow you. Because let's be honest, if you are sending out content that's going to attract other estheticians, that makes no sense. That's not your client. If you're going to send out content that attracts, people that are in Las Vegas and you're in Florida, that makes no sense. Those are people that are not going to come to your business. You don't want that. You want to make sure that you are attracting clients that are around the niche that you talk about. It's around the services you offer. It's around the things that you do. You want to make sure you're actually speaking to that person. And so we're going to be talking about flipping the script. We're going to be talking about the estheticians that are showing up online, but the bookings aren't. We're going to be talking about ensuring that you know who you're speaking to, but also I'm going to give you kind of some strategies that are going to get you off of that hamster wheel of like stressing over likes. We're also going to talk about kind of like the myth of more content equals more clients, because let's be honest, that's not true. Because if you're speaking to the wrong person, you're really speaking to no one. Okay. And that's what I literally always talk about. I mean, you've probably heard, if you've listened to any of my other podcasts, I have said this. But when you look at, say, another esthetician, because that's what we do, we compare, which I highly encourage you to delete this esthetician. But if you are looking at an esthetician or anybody on Instagram, and you're like, oh my gosh, they have 30,000 followers, I want you to look at the people that are following her, okay? Following that esthetician. Is that esthetician being followed by 20,000, 25,000 other estheticians? Or is that esthetician being followed by 25, 30,000 people that live in her area? Because in reality, if you're finding her and you're following her, there's probably a lot of other estheticians that are doing the same. And so you have to understand that if she has 30,000 estheticians following her and you have 5,000 people from your local area following you, who's winning? Really, your followers are more valuable than her followers, especially if you're trying to build a spa and not selling some type of digital product. So just remember that as we get into this, okay? So I'm going to really be giving you 3 tactical strategies about running a business and marketing your business and not having to feel like you're posting all the time. Now, I want to say again, Instagram is a skill to have. Facebook is a skill to have, but it's not the entire skill. Marketing that's just a tool you can use. It's not the entire toolbox. Okay, you have to understand that a business that is thriving is a business that has used a lot of different tactics and strategies to get clients, especially in one where you are based in a local area. If you are not based in a local area and you are selling things online or you're selling your services online for people all over the world, then all of your tactics need to be on social media, on YouTube, on any of those digital platforms. But if you're somebody who is not and you're in a local area, you have to talk to people in person. You have to use other things other than social platforms to grow. And you may say, yes, but I see other estheticians that are purely getting their clients off of social media. Absolutely. That is absolutely true. I mean, I always talk about my massage therapist in Orlando. Majority of her clients came from social media. But I also want to add, she did a lot of things at the beginning. She worked with other people to get her name out there for people to know who she was. Now, almost all of her clients come from social media because she did the work. And that's the same concept. A lot of your business can come from social media eventually when you do the work ahead of time. So once you make it passive, then it becomes easier. But I also want to add, you can start acting like your people that follow you, you have 100,000 followers. Start acting like that now because you're going to get practice. It's going to be ugly and it's okay. If you listen to my last podcast, I talk about being messy, but also you're going to be able to start building that community around people that are going to get to see what you have to offer. So let's get into this. 6 minutes in, and I'm going to talk to you about really strategies that are not only added to Instagram, but something that you can utilize to kind of compound on Instagram, okay? First one are referral triggers. Now, I talk about referrals all the time. And if you've worked in any business, people are like, oh, a lot of my business comes from word of mouth. And let me tell you, I love a business that gets a lot of referrals. I love it. I think about that car wash I went to today. The only reason I chose this car wash was based off a referral from my dad. And he told me this is the best one. And I said, okay, Daddy. And I now have a car wash membership with them. I spend $29 a month and they wash my car all the time. And that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of times referrals can happen like that. But I think about it, sometimes referrals, especially in a service-based industry like we have, don't always come as frequently as we want. I think about it, before I got like really good at referrals, I rarely got referrals because I didn't ask for them. People didn't know. Like you would think it would be like no-brainer, right? It's almost like applying a sunscreen. You would think it would be a no-brainer. You would think it'd be a no-brainer to, not do certain things to your skin, to not pick, to not, pop milia. You would think that's natural, like it's a normal thing for everybody, but it's not. It's normal for us. So as business owners, it's normal for us to just give the referral because we want it, right? Of course I'm going to refer you. Like I'm a business owner. I get it. A lot of people aren't business owners and they don't know that. So you have to kind of plan for planting the referral seeds with every client. Asking for referral is not a one and done thing. You have to ask for it, then you have to remind them, then you have to remind them, then you have to remind them. And if you took my free webinar of 3 Steps to Fully Book, I talk about this. I talk about how you have to have like a real understanding that referrals take a hot minute to kick in. So sometimes you have to tell them about it in person and send them a follow-up text, especially if they're like somebody who's been seeing you for a while. Be like, hey, if you ever think about anybody who would love to see me or need something that I offer, please refer them to me. I always recommend in this sense to create a Google form that you can then send them the link and they can automatically just fill out that Google form with referrals for you. And this is such a good way you don't even understand because you can create a Google form that you can put in a text message. You can put in an email that says if you ever think of somebody, you can create a QR code that you put in a Dollar Tree frame and you can put it in your treatment room where people can scan it and leave your referrals, because there have been so many times where I've been like, one of my clients have been like, Allison, I'm so sorry. Like I keep forgetting to text my friend and tell her about you. She's mentioned getting a facial and I'm always like, I'm going to text you my esthetician's, my facial girls, what they always call me, my facial girls number. And I always forget. And I was like, it's no big deal. Go ahead and do it right now. And then they would either do it right then or I'm like, it's fine. You can give me their number and I can call them. I'll let them know that you want me to reach out to them. And you could take it out of their space and put it into your space. And then of course, having some type of referral program. Now I want everybody to remember this, and none of you would need to repeat this, but you need to keep your referral system simple, easy to understand, and repeatable. Okay, simple, easy to understand, and repeatable. Say it with me. I keep my referral system simple, easy to remember, and repeatable. Simple, easy to remember, and repeatable. Okay, I want you to remember that. And when you are creating any type of referral system, any type of loyalty system, any type of thing for your clients, whether it's a membership, whether it's a new service or how add-ons work, everything has to be simple, easy to remember, and repeatable. And that's the same concept with your referral system. So what I recommend with a referral system when you're like I don't know how to create a referral system. Think about something that is low cost to you, high perceived value to them. Low cost to you, meaning it doesn't cost you a lot of money to give. It doesn't cost you a lot of money to create. If it can make it free for you and maybe just your time, that is where it's at. If you can even add it into the facial and it doesn't cost you any extra time, that's where it's at. But you can do like a high perceived value, low cost to you. So think about it. A chemical peel, for instance, is typically what? In reality, if you know your numbers, is usually $3 to $4 a service. Okay, awesome. People will pay upwards $150, $200, $300 for the right chemical peel, right? That is a perfect example of a low cost but high perceived value. And so you could literally make it super simple depending on your services. If all your services are roughly the same price or they're around the same area, you can do like 20% off, $20 off, 30% off, $30 off for the person who refers and for the person who got referred. If you're just like, I can't do 20% off because one of my services is $5,000, that's okay. What you can do is you can put a cap, up to $150 off of something. Or you can give something free, like a free add-on. Every single client gets something free at their next service. Maybe they get a skincare set free. Maybe they get their retail for a percentage off. Maybe they get, whatever it is that is important to you. Maybe they get their next lash tint for free if you do lashes with an underarm wax. Okay. Something that is super simple for you, that is cost effective, but is high perceived value to them. There's a lash artist in where I used to live, and her lash tints are very expensive. She books out. Okay. That's that. She books out. She's good. She's good. But I know it's not that expensive to do a lash tint. That would be a really great example of high perceived value with a low cost to her. So really using your referrals to bring in more clients, but making sure that you're keeping the ball also in your court. When you put the ball all the way in somebody else's court, they're in control of that ball. So when they're in control of that ball, you have no means of being like, okay, I want the ball back. No, they have the ball. And when I say that, I mean like they have the ball, so they have control of what they do with the ball. So what they do with that client's phone number, whether they give you the ball back. So you have to take ownership of that ball and be like, I will reach out. I want control. That's why I always say that if you are in front of people and you love them, don't just give them your business card. Get them on your Instagram, get their phone number, get their email. I don't care. Figure it out, exchange locations, like be best friends, because you need to be able to get access to them again. Okay. Because once they leave your space, it's completely done. Okay. So let's focus on referrals while also posting on Instagram. All right. Strategy number 2. And I love this because I always love to it's called a comeback campaign, meaning it's come back. How many times do we have a client that says, I'll book when in a few weeks, I'll have to look at my calendar and then I'll text you with what I need to book when I need to book. In reality, do they ever actually book? No. Okay. I'll say it together. No. It is unlikely that once someone leaves your space, that they are going to actually book again, especially if you, or at least in the next month, especially if you're somebody who doesn't pre-book. So we're going to do something called a comeback campaign. So this could be like re-engaging with those clients via like an email or text blast. So if you have Vagaro, or if you have Square, or if you have Gloss Genius, majority of the time you can see who has been in the last 3 months or hasn't been in the last 3 months. That's why I love Vagaro, because it gives you like all the statistics, all the analytics. It tells you everything that's going on. It tells you like the best things that are being sold, the top services, all these things. Okay. So you can look who hasn't been in the last 3 months, and you're going to send out a blast. Okay. What you can say is like, I haven't seen you in a bit. Let's catch up and get your glow back. Or I haven't seen you in a bit. I'm giving free dermaplane to everybody who books this week or everybody who books this month. I'm giving, a free LED treatment. That's that low cost plus high perceived value, right? You can charge upwards of like 100 plus for a good LED. So are you, it's free for us after you purchase the machine, but it's high perceived value to them, low cost for us. So basically you're re-engaging with them. And this isn't where you can send one text message out. Sometimes you have to let people know, like, hey, I just want you to know, like, my comeback campaign or something is ending in 3 days. I would love to get you on the books. I've extended it a little bit for you. Don't forget, you get free dermaplane when you book a 60-minute facial. Something like that. If you're a lash tech, you could do you get free LED on the chest. You get a free hand mask. You get free exfoliating foot mask. Same thing for people that do nails, or if you're somebody who does a different service, like maybe waxing, you get a free hydrogelly mask with every Brazilian. Something that's super inexpensive, but high perceived value to them, okay? And this is great because you can use this as content because you are then going to be demonstrating what you can do on Instagram, all right? Now, strategy number 3 is the local plug strategy. This is the one where you're going to partner with a local business at least once a month to try to get in front of their audience. Now, I always tell people, if people don't know who you are, then they don't know who you are. So you have to get out there and tell people who you are, because if you don't share who you are, what your business is, if you don't go tell your local community, hey, I'm the esthetician that is your esthetician down the road, how are they going to know that you are the esthetician they're supposed to go to? Because they don't even know you exist. They don't know who you are. I mean, think about the amount of businesses that we don't know probably exist, but people don't know about them because they don't market themselves. They don't advertise themselves. So getting in with the local plug, okay? And I mean this with a business, of course, but choosing a local business that works with you. Now, think about it like a hairstylist. So if you're in a sweet situation, there's most likely hairstylists. That would be great. That's a great connection. Massage therapist, great connection. Because you could literally ask your massage therapist if you could put something small in their room. You're doing a giveaway for a month and you want people to enter to win. That's a really great way to ask your massage therapist to just have something out. Please tell your clients about this and then leave. You could literally say every time somebody refers, then you get, 20% off your service, because assuming you're trading services with your massage therapist, but maybe they get free skincare product from you because they referred somebody to you. You could literally make it a thing where maybe at a coffee shop you frequent, you ask, hey, can every Sunday, every Saturday, whatever day is your admin day, whatever day you choose to be your networking day, can I stand in here with a thing for people to enter to win? Can I stand in here and pass out business cards or have people to follow me on Instagram to get them to enter to win a service from me? Is that something I can do? Connecting with local businesses. Now, if you know me, you know I'm going to talk about BNI. BNI is absolutely one of my favorite ways to build local connections with businesses. And that's because when you are working with a local connection with a business, and especially with BNI, the job at BNI is to refer people to you. So you get a connection. Imagine like you have like you're one person, right? But if you have 30, 40 other people marketing for you, how much more clients do you think you're going to get? And so that's where I really encourage you to every single month work with either the same business or connect with a different business, something that you can build rapport with, that people can get used to you, and share what you do on Instagram. Share like, this is my networking day. I'm so excited to like meet all these new people. Share it on your stories. Make it a whole thing of you setting up the whole setup, right? The whole, say you're doing like a giveaway or you're making your business cards, like make it a thing where people are like, oh, this is what, she does to build her business. Because when people are building their business, other people want to help to build their businesses. And that's what I love about good friends, about family, about people who want to support you. And even your clients. I can't even tell you at this point, it's been such a blessing. Even with me just starting this podcast and releasing my course in November, I have had numerous referrals from other estheticians telling me, hey, I shared your Instagram with my friend who's still in school because I know you can help her. Hey, I shared your course with somebody because I knew that they would help her. And your clients do the same for you. They want to refer you when they see you are also working for it. So get out there and document it, okay? Now, let's recap these 3 strategies really quickly, because those are the 3 that I think are really going to help change everything that's going on. First, before we get into strategies, just remember that you need to really know who you're speaking to. Because even if you have all this content, all this beautiful stuff, when you're posting on Instagram, if you don't know who you're talking to absolutely no one, okay? But we need to focus on strategy 1, referrals. Figure out ways that you can ask people for referrals without being the person who asks them for referrals. Maybe it's an automatic text you just send out, an automatic email you just send out. Okay. Now, think about strategy 2 is a comeback campaign. You're going to ask people, I would probably honestly recommend every 3 months. So this would be like a quarterly thing you could put in your calendar. Literally, I would say I always choose Tuesdays because Tuesdays I feel like they were busy, but like I usually had 30 minutes to spare. This is where you go back in your books and you see who has not seen you in the last 3 months, who's not booked, and you get them booked again with something that's going on. Okay. So make sure that you are connecting with them, asking them how they're doing, and follow up with them. Okay. And then number 3 is you're hooking up with your local plug strategy. This is where you are going to find a local business, the business you still continue to work with, or you just figure out a way to network. Maybe you're doing a vendor event to get in front of the other people's local audiences so that you can also be a part of their audience. I want you to think of this one as almost if you're going to do a collab with somebody on Instagram. Say I had a guest on my podcast right now, and she or he was now able to get in front of my audience of people, was now able to get in front of the people that I serve so that I can expose that person to all of the people that I talk to, like you. Same concept if I were to get on somebody else's podcast. Ask them, like, I want to be in front of your audience. And that's the same concept, but locally, you have to show up in person. All right. And so those are the 3 things that you have to remember. But also, I want you to remember that posting is a tool, it is not the entire toolbox. If you are talking to everyone, you're talking to no one, and stop comparing yourself to other estheticians. You have no idea what they've been through to get where they are. So if you feel like you're comparing yourself, delete them, unfollow them, and just focus on you and stay in your lane. And then, of course, I want you to remember that booking comes from connection, not just content. I was actually telling my husband this, that I need to figure out more ways to connect with my audience. That's one of the reasons I created my podcast, because I want you to know who I am. I want you to hear my voice. I want you to know that I'm funny. I want you to laugh with me. And I want that more of a connection, that you see me all the time and you get used to me, because I want to be that. It's the same concept. It's not from just basic content. You need to have that connection. And as I'm still learning how to do it, and I'm sure you will too, is becoming people's comfort creator, where they can just scroll through your Instagram and watch your stuff and it make them happy. And that is really what happens when you are thinking about anything on Instagram. Now, of course, we want to book, right? We want to book, 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 book. But in reality, until we get to the place where you can actually create content and it really resonate with somebody and they book, even without asking them to book, you have to get out in person. You have to let people know who you are so they know who you are. So stop staying behind your phone and comparing yourself to other estheticians and get out there and network. You have no idea who is the next person who's going to be your next BFF in your treatment room. You just have to continue to work to get in front of people and just continue to do it. Now, in the show notes, I'm going to put in my webinar for 3 steps to fully booked, because I believe that if you found this podcast, this particular one, helpful, that webinar is really going to help you thrive. At the end of the webinar, it does talk about how to work with me and talks about my course and stuff like that. And that is a place that you can continue to build your business and to market and do all the things. But truly, the webinar itself is so just like 40 minutes of just information, because if you guys know me, you know I don't gatekeep. And so that is something that I would highly recommend. So I'm going to go ahead and link that in the show notes so you get to see that. And other than that, I'm so excited that you've listened to this all the way. And I will be seeing you next week for episode 10. And I'm actually going to be answering the questions continued that you guys are giving me from Instagram. So make sure that you're following me on Estheticians in Business, my Instagram page. So check that out. And then, of course, if you are on Facebook and you want to see my weekly lives on Fridays, you can go to Estheticians in Business, the Facebook group. You can also find that linked in my link tree and my link in my bio on Instagram, Estheticians in Business. But I'll see you guys next week. Bye.